In the heart of the Congo, where the mighty Congo River flows through the lush jungle and vast savannas, a young Patrice Lumumba stood tall, his spirit fueled by a passion for independence and freedom. Born on July 2, 1925 in Onalua, Belgian Congo, now the Democratic Republic of Congo, Lumumba would go on to become one of Africa's most iconic leaders, leaving an indelible mark on his country's history. Lumumba's early life was shaped by his experiences as a postal clerk and a beer salesman. However, it was his involvement in the nationalist movement that would define his legacy. Lumumba became increasingly frustrated with the colonial regime's oppressive policies and racist attitudes towards the Congolese people. He joined various organizations, including the Mouvement National Congolais, MNC, and quickly rose through the ranks due to his charisma and oratory skills. As Lumumba's influence grew, so did his message of independence and self-determination. He traveled extensively throughout the Congo, rallying support for the nationalist movement and advocating for an end to Belgian colonial rule. Lumumba's message resonated with the Congolese people, who were tired of being treated as second-class citizens in their own land. The Belgian colonial regime, however, viewed Lumumba's growing influence with suspicion and hostility. They saw him as a radical and a threat to their authority, and in 1959, Lumumba was arrested and imprisoned for his involvement in the nationalist movement. Despite his imprisonment, Lumumba's message continued to spread, and the Congolese people became increasingly restless. In 1960, the Belgian government was forced to grant the Congo independence, and Lumumba became the country's first prime minister. However, his time in office was short-lived. The Congo was plunged into chaos, with various factions vying for power and external powers intervening in the country's affairs. Lumumba's attempts to maintain control and stability were thwarted by internal divisions and external interference. Despite the challenges he faced, Lumumba remained committed to his vision for a united and independent Congo. He appealed to the United Nations for assistance, but his pleas were ignored. As the situation in the Congo continued to deteriorate, Lumumba's relationship with President Joseph Kasavubu and the country's military leadership began to fray. In September 1960, Lumumba was dismissed as prime minister, and the country's descent into chaos accelerated. Lumumba's attempts to regain power were thwarted, and he was eventually captured by his rivals. In January 1961, Lumumba was brutally murdered in the presence of Belgian officers and CIA agents, marking a dark chapter in the Congo's history. Lumumba's legacy, however, continues to inspire and mobilize people across Africa and beyond. He remains a symbol of African nationalism and resistance